Okay, I'm going to describe how to use the Netbeans ROS pack to develop ROS packages, which are code packages for the robot operating system, otherwise known as ROS. We're going to start from the beginning and just start from the install of Netbeans. So to install Netbeans, we first go to netbeans.org, click on the download link, and I download the one that has everything in it, and it goes ahead and downloads. So I'm going to pause here until it all finishes downloading. Alright, it's done downloading. So here we are, it's downloaded to the downloads directory. So I'm going to open up so here it is, and so I'm going to then run it. So /downloads netbeans 802. Alright, so it's opened up the Netbeans installer window. I'm going to customize. I don't want all of this stuff. Pretty much I'm just going to install sort of everything except for Groovy and PHP. Everything else I'm just going to leave there. Accept the license. I'm not going to install JUnit. I'm going to put it in my bin directory. And I will allow it to check for updates and then just install. So this is going to take a while. I will pause this. Okay, so I just finished installing the Netbeans IDE. Now to get the plugin for developing ROS packages, you click on Plugins. In the plugins catalog, they have this little field here called Name, and type in Netbeans ROS, and you'll see Netbeans ROS pack come up. Okay, and you click on that, and then you click on the download link here, and that will download to our computer. Now it's downloaded as a zip file, and we have to unzip it to install the plugins that are contained in the zip file. So let's go to the folder containing the zip file, and I've downloaded it several times, I guess. We're trying to do this tutorial and having issues. So I'll unzip any one of these. They're all the same file. So extract here, and when you do so, this actually, the actual archive itself has inside of it an updates folder. Inside the updates folder are these 3 files, and those are the plugins we need to install. So when we unzipped it, it created this updates folder, and here are the 3 NBM files that Netbeans will install as plugins. So at this point we need to run Netbeans and install the plugins. So I installed it to the /bin directory, so Netbeans is in here, and to run it I go into that directory, to the bin folder, and run the Netbeans script. That'll run Netbeans. So Netbeans is coming up now. And here it is. First thing we want to do is install those plugins. So let's find them. Downloaded plugins. Okay, so these have already been detected. But we're going to actually go ahead and do it from scratch. So add plugins, and then you would go to the downloads updates directory. So you go to downloads directory, then there's the updates folder in that directory, and there are the 3 Netbeans modules. So select all 3 of them, hit OK, and it'll say, okay, here are the 3 plugins, and then select install. That'll install the 3 plugins that are checkboxed there, and accept the license and install. Okay, so we've successfully installed the plugins. Alright, so now we're ready to start developing ROS packages. So for an example, I decided to sort of use the Netbeans ROS ID to perform one of their tutorials. So at the ROS Wiki, they have a tutorial on how to write a simple publisher and subscriber. We're going to do it in C++. And so, but there are Python plugins for Netbeans, albeit I haven't used them yet. So you could probably do the one in Python as well. But in this tutorial, they have you create a beginner tutorials package. Okay, and so we'll do that. So let's go to the Netbeans IDE, and we need to create a project, a ROS project first. So this is the create project button. There's a ROS project. So it's a ROS beginner tutorials project. And so it's going to put that in this folder, and when you create the project, it'll create a folder within this folder, the Netbeans projects folder, and the name of that folder will be the name of the project. So ROS beginner tutorial will be the name of the folder where this project was going to live. Click finish, and it creates the project, and it opens up the project in the IDE. So a lot of the actions for the ROS project are actually done by right-clicking in this projects window and selecting actions. So there's a bunch of actions here. The first action really you want to check out is the properties. Make sure that the properties are appropriate for your install. It's set to look in this folder, which is the default location for installing ROS, and it's set to look for Indigo. So this is correct for my operating system because under the /opt/ROS/Indigo folder, you have all of the ROS install stuff. Here's all my installed packages for ROS, for example. So this is the correct folder for me. For you, if you have a Jade installed, or Hydro, or Fuerte, or some other distribution of ROS, you need to change this. This is the workspace folder, and for those familiar with working with ROS will know what that is. The source folder is under the workspace folder, so this sort of tells the directory structure underneath the ROS workspace folder. There's a source, the build, the development or develop folder, and the install folder. These are all locations for different kinds of files. Source files go in the source directory. Build files are created by cat-can-make and placed in the build subdirectory of the ROS workspace. And devel is where you essentially test your developed source code packages, and then install is when you feel you're finally ready to install the packages. You can release them to some install location. So these are important configuration options to sort of make things work to begin with. All of these options are okay for me, and you can make sure that what we'll first be concerned with is the ROS workspace folder and the source folder. When we look at the structure of our files, there's the ROS beginner tutorial folder, and then under that folder is the ROS workspace folder. And then under that folder is the source folder. This source folder is typically where you would house packages. When you create a project, it's initially empty. So we actually need to create a package within this project, and the package that we're going to create is the beginner tutorial package. So let's go to the projects tab where we can do actions on our project. We're going to go to the workspace, and we're going to create a new package in this workspace. And that's going to open a window. The package name is going to be beginner tutorial. Dependencies, I guess standard messages, ROS CPP, there's a couple of dependencies just to begin with, and we'll probably add some as we go. So this will create, and then it goes ahead and issues the necessary commands to create the package. And if we open the workspace folder again or expand it, inside of the source folder we'll see the package we just created. And the package has its own include source, cmakelist, and package.xml folders. So it's all set to go. And we can build the empty package by clicking on the build icon. All of the output goes into this output tab here. If you don't see this window down here, it's window output, and if you click on that you will see the output of catkin make as it's building your ROS packages. Okay, so let's do some more of the two. We've created the package, which allows us to put in all of the source files we need to put in. So let's see what's next on the tutorial. So they say download this file and put it in Talker, in the source file as talker.cpp. Okay, so I'm going to use the IDE to create talker.cpp, a C++ file. So we go to the source directory inside of our package. We create a new C++ source file, and we're going to call it Talker with an extension of CPP. Okay, there's the C++ file. It's got a parallel view of the project under this ROS workspace, which controls all of the build options and things of that sort. Typically, you really don't have to do much with this unless you want to do package debugging. So here's the file. It's an empty file, so I'm going to go back to that site and get all of the text and copy and paste it into that file. So copy it, then go to our Netbeans and paste it in. Okay, so now we've got it. Alright, now that we have it in there, we can try and compile. Let's see if we can compile the talker.cpp. Okay, it compiled successfully, but that doesn't mean that we actually compiled this file. Let's go back to the tutorial and see what it tells us to do next. So it goes through and explains a bunch of the code, which is fine. What's the next actual action? Oh, creating a listener.cpp. Okay, so instead of going through the menus like before, I'm just going to copy this file and then paste it in here and rename it. Rename listener.cpp, and then I'll just delete all the contents and copy the contents from the web page. Let's see. Alright. Go. Alright, what's the next action? So we've got a listener and a talker. It explains all of that code. Now, building your nodes. You use catkin create package, which is sort of what we did through the IDE to create the package. And then we have a cmakelist that should look like this. Okay, so let's open cmakelist within our IDE. And it's right here. This is inside the beginner tutorial package. We have cmakelist. We'll drop it into the editor window and have a look at it. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the top level cmakelist. Here's the one that's inside of. There's lots of cmakelist files, so sometimes it's hard to select the right one. This one is inside the beginner tutorial package. So we'll put it over here, and there it is. It's got the name of the project and the dependencies I originally specified. Let's see what we're supposed to do in here. This one has gen message and rospy as additional entries here. Let's go ahead and put that in the correct locations. Okay. It's got some ROS messages. And so let's see about putting that in. So this is slightly different, but so this is where the messages would go. Add message files. Okay, add service files. That's here. So we'll put this one over here. Generate messages. So I think generate messages goes down here. Generate services. Generate messages. So we'll put it kind of there. Okay, and now we'll go back to the declare a catkin package. Okay, well I think that comes default. Nope, so we need to put that somewhere. Where is catkin package? Here it is. Oh, so it is here. Declare, it's just commented out and all empty. So we have essentially the same file. Don't worry about modifying commented examples. Simply add these to the bottom of your CMake. So that's what we'll do. Take this and we'll add it. We'll go back to the IDE. Go to the install location. We'll just add it. So this is where they have add dependencies. So we'll put these lines in at a similar location. But this is going to tell catkinmake to compile these CPP files. In Talker is going to be the thing that it compiles. It's located in the source Talker sub location in our package. So we'll go ahead and save it. And I think we're just about ready to compile everything and create our package. So let's see. What does it say now? Resulting CMake file should look like this. Well, it does. It explains the contents. Well, at this point, you can now run catkinmake and compile things. So that for us, that's just the build action. So build will run catkinmake, and we're missing message files. So it says add message files. So there must be messages that are being passed back and forth because this has a num.message and a add2inst.srv that are inside the message and srv folders. We have to create these folders. New folder, msg, that's going to create the directory msg for messages, and then inside of that we need to create a num.msg file. Okay, and then it seems like we also need to create a srv folder. And within the srv folder, we need to create a add2inst.srv. Okay. New other empty file. What is the name of it? It's add2inst.srv. Okay. So we have, so this is a service file, and this is a message file, and so it's having these things built. They must become as part of the standard tutorial, but they need to be there. So now we'll run catkinmake again. Okay, so it seems like that. Built that package, and then let's build the entire project. Okay, so we successfully built the project. Um, at this point, I'm going to end the tutorial, but that goes through the basics of creating a listener and talker publisher and subscriber wiki, and then getting it to work. I believe they have a Git repository for this beginner tutorial, and so if we wanted to actually just download that, we could do so. Let's see where that is at, and show you how to use Git with Netbeans real quick. So let's see, ROS beginner tutorial, and then we'll look for their package. Let's see. So maybe this is it here. Catkin tutorials, beginner tutorials. This has all of the stuff that we're looking for. So it seems like you can just download the entire tutorial as a single part of a repository. It's part of the Catkins tutorials repository. So I guess we could just copy this repository and download it to Netbeans. So Netbeans team git clone, and this is what we want to clone. This doesn't have a password or login, and we want to put it in this project here. So this is in the Netbeans project, a beginner tutorial source folder. Okay, so it's okay, and this will clone all of the tutorials. Close. And it appears here. So these are the Catkin tutorials. And I guess if we open it up, there's publish a subscriber, the workspace, the source, and here's the actual the actual tutorial. So we can take this, and I suppose we could. This is probably very similar to the one I just created. You can see it there, right? Anyways, it just shows you how to use Git to download something and track it. Now I have you can see that Git actually tracks a lot of things. I turned on the show versioning label so that we could see the status and the branches and all of the version control right here in the project window. That's it for the tutorial for now. Thanks for listening. Bye.